And here we are. Welcome to the studio in the basement. And welcome to session one on communication. Um, yeah, our first kick at the can. A little intimidating, got to tell you, and a little exciting.
True that.
Uh, just to let you know, these are some of the things we're going to be going through over time. And here we are. We're going to look at family and friends, quality time, roles and responsibilities, spiritual beliefs, sex and affection, partner behavior, conflict resolution, finances, and of course, communication. And let's see. Feel free to jump in anytime and say what you need.
Okay. So I'm sure that many of you are going, oh, well, that section doesn't necessarily apply to us, or this one seems a little more interesting, or oh boy, that's one we really have a problem with. We're going to cover all of them, and this is a first off for us too. So we may use examples, but people may take it that we're using them as part of our story. Trust me, we're not. It'll be an example or something from our own lives and experiences. So please, nobody take offense to what examples are used, okay?
And the first topic is communication. But sorry, guys, it's the worst aspect of communication for guys. We're going to talk about feelings. And Patty picked the card.
I did.
But it is important that we start there. You know, I get it. I'm a former Marine. So, if the military wanted you to have feelings, they would have issued them to you, and they weren't issued. It's kind of the culture, I think, that men grow up in. We're not supposed to at least acknowledge or exhibit feelings. They're often crushed. Be a man, be a boy, grow up, don't cry.
Very true.
And we're, I gotta say, I was very much part of that culture and ingrained it. And it was very destructive. And it even came close to destroying our relationship early on because that was something this guy don't do. I don't do feelings.
Yeah, and yet, funnily enough, I mean, as women, I think that sometimes we resort to feelings a little too much. Um, Everything becomes emotional, and we need to temper that a little bit because if we're acting out of emotion only, then we're not giving time to contemplate what's really going on, or we're reading into a situation that is totally out of place because we're throwing our emotions into the mix. We need to be careful about that. And like Herb said, we learned early on how destructive that can be. And that's why I actually picked this card today, because I think it's probably one of the biggest hurdles that couples face is how to deal with feelings, because it really is kind of the core of relationships. Let's face it.
And so we have four questions, and we're going to post these at the very end of the video so you can go over them with your partner. Rules of engagement, that's kind of important. Talking skills is you are versus you make me feel. Even that is correct. Incorrect, sorry. When we're talking about feelings, we got to say, when this happens, I feel. My reaction is, it's not your fault.
No, exactly.
You come home 5 minutes late, later than expected, and I've got dinner ready, and my reaction is, you're late. Now I'm angry. No, my reaction has to be different. It has to be that 5 minutes late puts me in this, allows me to feel this, or I feel this reaction to you being late. How can we deal with that?
Right. Feelings are neither right nor wrong. They're a choice, and you have the utmost control over them. So, recognizing that you're entitled to your feelings, as I said, they're neither right nor wrong, but nobody is making you feel that way. And that's really, really important when you communicate. It's not you make me feel, it is when this happens, I feel. So, or when you say that, I feel. It's still a choice, and we need to be really careful and mindful of how we speak to each other when we talk about our feelings.
So you want to go with the first question, Sweets?
Sure. So our first question for tonight is, when do you find it difficult to share your feelings with your partner? So I guess I'll answer it first because, being the female, feelings are something that I don't really struggle with sharing, you would think. However, that's wrong. I find it very difficult to share my feelings when I am feeling vulnerable, when it's something that is very painful, or,
Talking to me?
this is the biggest one, or when we aren't connected, when there's friction between us, then it's very, very difficult to share feelings.
When the negative is already underlying, there's
Right.
a sense of negative. That's kind of my. I don't mind sharing feelings of joy. I mean, it's
Easy
like
to
we're
do.
excited. Yeah, but again, when I think that what I am feeling is going to disappoint you. When what I have to say is going to disappoint you, I handle that wrong. Of course, I come out with sarcasm, right? That's my go-to, rather than this situation I'm reacting to and I'm feeling this. It's yeah. If I'm going to share something and it and you might not be happy. Yeah, and if there's tension, right? If there's tension already that we haven't worked out, then sharing feelings is becomes difficult. Yeah.
And I think part of that comes from our history, because we know what a broken relationship looks like and feels like and how painful that is. And so, yeah, sometimes I think the mindset of, well, I'm going to not say anything because I don't want to jeopardize our relationship.
The walking on eggshells.
Walking on eggshells, thank you. And yet that can be the worst thing to do. Because when we don't deal with the conflict or the feelings behind that conflict, we're never getting to a point of resolution. And that then keeps this unhealthy base stirring underneath. And trust me, the devil will use that and use it against you very strongly. And we have had those types of experiences. And once we got to the point of calling that out, man, have we
The
had...
peripheral falls away when
Exactly.
you get at that core.
And as soon as we hit that core, and we've done this several times with a few different issues, and once we hit that core and really got to the guts of it and worked it through and cried. Okay, I cried.
Guys don't cry.
Right. You know, the joy of the
Reconciliation. in a way.
yeah, just how connected we felt afterwards.
Wall is gone. It's not even a reconciliation.
Yeah.
The wall is gone.
Yeah, it was really deep and really good, but it still doesn't come easily.
Nope.
Not for either of us. And
But practicing
yeah,
and triumphs. The first few times are the most difficult, of course, of sharing feelings and sorting through it and hashing it out. and learning to do it in a non-hurtful way,
Yeah.
and to just work through it to get to the core issues and then move on. But every time you do it, it becomes a little easier.
Very true.
It's not easy.
No.
I don't think it's ever easy, but
No.
working on it. Should we move to the second question?
Yeah, it's yours.
Okay. Why is sharing feelings important for relationships? Why is sharing feelings important for relationships? Shared experience, joy and in sorrow, for better, for worse. If you're up and I'm down and I'm not sharing that I'm down, you can't relate to me. And it creates more distance, I think. But if I share, I can still feel the same feelings, but now you recognize what I'm feeling, and it doesn't have to bring you down, but
No.
it allows you to walk with me through what I'm feeling. If I am feeling very disappointed, one of the things we've gone through many times is looking for a church. God has called us to ministry. We know that, and we've looked at different options, and we've pursued different ministries and worked with different congregations, but we've never come to a point where we've had a church. And the struggle, the disappointment, the courtship, and then nothing, and then the courtship, and then nothing, and that has happened quite a few times over the last few years. So the disappointment is real, but I think it's real for both of us in some
Yeah.
ways. But we share that.
We do. It's when things happen to one of us that the other person is not experiencing, because I'm at work all day, you're home studying and writing and getting all of this ready, and you have so many things going on, and you could have an entire roller coaster through the day of stuff that
Yeah.
I want to be part of, I want to be involved in. I wish I was here to just share in all of that, but I can't be. I have to be at work. And at work, I might have had a roller coaster of a day myself. So I might come home with a head full of steam from whatever occurred. And, I come home and I want to just unload. I need to blast for a few minutes. And thankfully, Herb's very gracious and lets me just get it off my chest. But at the same time, he's been really great at just listening and letting me vent. And then I need to stop and listen to what he has to say. And hopefully we have time for that, because there are some nights where, well, I've got to get on a conference call or whatever, right? He's got something else that has to happen at a certain time, and I didn't give him the opportunity to vent. So I feel guilty when that type of stuff happens too, because it's not always you getting an opportunity. I share very quickly.
Yeah, we get through it, though.
Yeah, we do.
And rarely, if ever, do we go to bed without having talked about each other's days.
Oh, very true.
That almost never happens unless we're both absolutely exhausted, and it's like, night, devotions, off goes the light, and that's it.
And I'm snoring in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Moving on. Let's not go there. That's too private. Too much TMI.
TMI,
Too
that's
much
it.
information.
Okay, so our next question is, when your partner talks about his or her feelings, how do you respond?
Ooh. Should I go first on this one?
Sure.
In the beginning, not well, unless it was positive. If Patty had positive feelings, I always responded well. But if Patty had negative feelings, negative thoughts, negative experiences, whether with me or with someone else, or even now, if she comes home from work with a negative experience, I'm a guy. I'm going to go out there and take care of it, right? Our call to action. Something's bothering my lady. That's not going to fly. Take a breath, step back. When it involves me, defensive, right? If you share a feeling that it was caused, a negative feeling that was caused by one of my actions or words, I tend to dive for the defensive, and I say dive because that's the low road. Instead of acknowledging, hey, I messed up. I left the light on in the garage.
You never do that.
Never.
Never.
What little things or big things, but the attitude is always so dive for the defense versus acknowledging. Yeah, okay, yeah, missed it. Gotta step up. Thanks, dear. Thanks for the reminder. Or I'm sorry that this has happened to cause you that kind of reaction. And the defensive has really been the primary initially, but I think it's gotten better over
It has.
the years we've been together. So
I'd say that is something recognizably that you have worked on. And I feel the difference. I don't just see the difference, I feel the difference. Although I know myself when I don't appreciate what you're feeling, generally it's only when it's something directed to me that I may not have a great appreciation for it. I also get very defensive and angry, and I've recognized that there are times where, thank goodness I have a long commute, I will be driving down the road on my way generally home from work or to work sometimes, and it's like, oh man, all this stuff is going through my head, and all these frustrations, and I would have to work through them. And this is where, boy, did I get my prayer life in order, because I would be sometimes yelling at God, why am I going through this? I thought this was what you wanted for me. And, it took some yelling for me to get to the point where I recognized that a lot of my reactions were actually rooted in my previous relationship. The abuses from that affected how I was responding to you. And women, please recognize this is something that I think as females we do very quickly. We make a lot of assumptions based on our thoughts and feelings that aren't there. Hurt's a very quiet guy. I know you can't believe it, but he is. And he's very private. And for him to share things with me took a long time. And because of that quietness, that solitude, which he was used to for so many years, having no person living in his circle every day, I took that very personally. It was, oh, he's shutting me out. He doesn't want to be close to me. He doesn't love me anymore. And just all of these things going through my mind. And it had nothing to do with what he'd said or done.
yeah.
And, I put a lot on you that didn't belong there. It was my creation. I was painting a picture all over you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because we didn't
communicate.
We didn't talk about the feeling that you were.
Right. And learning how to spit that out was really difficult for me because I recognized that how vulnerable that made me feel. And that scared me because my fear of everything falling apart was real. It was tangible. And yeah, I'm glad we worked through that.
There's one more question. It says, what are you feeling right now? And if you can probably hear a dog barking, that's our dog going nuts. But our time is pretty much up. So what are you feeling right now? are you feeling right now?
Love.
Oh, I like that answer. Good answer. Now, how you top that, guys? I feel pretty good. I was a little anxious about jumping at this topic, so um, I'm feeling good. I think we can do this again.
I think so too.
So I hope you will join us for the next session. And we're going to try to post one a week uh, if we can get this all done. Um, let's see. We have contact information if you'd like to get a hold of us. Uh-oh. Let's cycle through this here a minute. There it's us, family, friends, and to the basement. _the_ basement at iCloud.com.
Or Alive in Him Ministries, The Basement, 97 Douglas Road, Madoc, Ontario, Canada. K0K2K0.
And just we're going to close off and wish you blessings on your journey. And we'll put up the slide with the questions to close off the video. So, blessings on the journey. And let's see, there we go.